Okay, we're going to get ready to reload the ASIAIR Plus. Before we dive into this bad boy, we need to make sure to do a full backup. So please follow the video up above and make sure that you did the backup. If you didn't do the backup, you're on your own. There's no way to get the stock operating system on this that I'm aware of. Back it up, son. Okay, so in the event that you jumped ahead and didn't see the video on how to take apart the ASIAIR Plus, essentially we're just going to drop out the screws in the back. There's 4 of them. The lid will come off. We've got a USB cable, well, we do need a USB cable. Let me show that. We need our USB cable. This is a C to USB 1. You can use a high-speed cable. It does not matter. It's still the same speed. The next thing that we need is our paper clip. That's going to go into those 2 pins here on the ASIAIR Plus in the corner. So right here you have 2 pins. We basically need to short out those pins so we can essentially have the unit boot up in bootloader mode. So just pop that in there, like so. The next thing that we need is our power adapter. This is from my M27. Plug that in, and then I've got a USB cable sitting around the back of the computer, so I'm just going to pop that in. And then essentially at this point we just turn it on, and then we can go ahead and boot into Windows real quick. Okay, so I'm on the desktop of my Windows computer. Essentially the first thing that we need to do is we need to open up a web browser, and we need to go to openastro.net. I just got done revamping the site and I've been doing a bunch of updates for it. So if you go to the operating system section, I have it broken down so you can download the different versions of OpenAstro. The first version that I released was based on Indy, and it was just a 32-bit operating system. OpenAstro 2.0 is essentially running Bullseye with 64-bit. And this version of OpenAstro will support Alpaca, ASCOM, Indy, and Indigo. I'm slowly going to be releasing drivers for every single one of these to walk you through getting everything set up. But right now, the only video that I'm going to have currently is OpenAstro with virtual here that I've been working on. So in here, we're just going to go ahead and download the image. It's got the username and password for the SSH, and then it's also got the default Wi-Fi SSID and password that you can connect to. So we'll just download this here. It's going to direct you to Google Drive, and then you can just hit download and then download anyways. And then it'll take a few minutes to download. I've already downloaded this once, but I'm just redoing this video to clean up some instructions on this. The next thing that I need to do is open up RPI boot. So I'm going to go ahead and open up RPI boot, and then I'm going to turn on the ASIAIR Plus with the paperclip. It's going to boot up and basically connect the drives and everything through USB. And it may show a window here in just a second. Maybe not. Yep, there it is. Okay, so it's connected. The drive showed up, and then essentially what we need to do is we need to open up the Raspberry Pi imager. And then in here, we're going to choose the OS, and then we're going to go to our custom, and then under the downloads, we'll just choose the OpenAstro. Again, I downloaded it twice, so just hit open on that. We're going to choose our storage as 32, and then basically hit right and say yes. You can, if this pops up, you can just close out of this. You don't need to worry about it, and it's just going to start writing it. This is going to take some time, so I'm going to just pause the video, and I will come back when this is finished. Okay, so I'm just about done with the verifying, and it's going to finalize it. And then once it's done, we can just hit the continue button. So at this point, I've shut off the Raspberry Pi. I'm going to be turning it back on because what we need to do is connect to the storage. So I'm just going to go ahead and boot it up right now. And I just turned it on, so it's connecting through RPI boot. And then what we need to do is we need to make a change to the config file. So it's just wanting to scan and repair the drive, and that's fine. So in here is our boot drive. And in here, what we need to do is we need to make a change to the config.txt file. So let me just bring this up over here. I'm going to just make this just a little bigger. And then I'm going to zoom in on it so we can see everything once I get to the bottom. So what we want to do is just go all the way down to the bottom. And what we're going to do is we're going to paste in some code that's going to be posted down below at the website that I have with this. So what this does is this is going to enable our power ports manually. Instead of installing Indy drivers or some other kind of driver to drive the ports, we're just going to manually turn them on.
So by enabling this, what we're doing here is port 12 is port 1, port 13 is port 2, port 26 is port 3, and port 18 is port 4 on the ASIAIR Plus, like when we're looking at the power ports, and they're labeled. So if I only want to run ports 1 and 2, because I'm going to be using my camera for one, and then I'm going to be using the MT3000 for the other, I don't need to turn on ports 3 and 4. So what you can do is you can just modify this and clean it up so it's ready to go. One thing to note about this is that whatever you set and save, this is what's going to be in the config.txt. So moving along, that's kind of where we're going to leave it. So from here, once you make those changes for port 1 and port 2, you can just save it. For me, again, I just need port 1 and 2. If you need the other ports, you'll have to do a comma and then 26 and then comma and then 18 if you want all 4 of them. Or if you only want port 1 and port 4, then you would use 12 and 18. If you want port 2 and 3, you would use 13 and 26. You get the idea. So I'll leave that to you. So we'll go ahead and close out of this, and then essentially we'll go ahead and boot up the ASIAIR and continue on with the next video.